Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we'll be taking a look at this pallet wood garden fence that I built 5 years ago now, back before I built my workshop. So in this video we'll be taking a look at the fence itself and seeing how it's holding up after 5 years of the UK weather that it's had to deal with. And I also want to talk about, if I could get my time back, would I have done the same thing again? Would I have made a fence entirely out of pallet wood and scrap wood, or would I have just gone to the shop and bought the materials? Right, so here is the pallet wood fence that I built first back in June 2019. It's now June 2024. So this fence is now 5 years old. I can't believe how quick the time's gone. I built this before I built my workshop. So I cut all the trees down here and put this fence up because I had a look into the cost of buying all the materials. It was very expensive, so I thought, why not give it a go, make one out of pallet wood. So this is all pallet wood here, even the posts and the top bits of pallet wood. Even the posts were things that I found. I think that one's a 2x4. On the other side there's normal posts like 3x3, but this is all pallet wood. Apart from this is some kind of skirting board trim that I salvaged just to hide the join of the two pallet boards. And as you can see, they're looking good. I painted them yesterday. With some fence stain. I've done both sides. Up here I've got my little log store that's also made out of pallet wood. There's a video on how I built this actually. I'll leave a link to that video in the description box, and I'll leave a link to the original video of me building this fence 5 years ago. So has it rotted? Is there any damage? I've been coating it every year, so it's probably had 5 coats over 5 years so far. This runs all the way down to the bottom of my garden behind my shed here. But surprisingly, as you can see, it's pretty much like the day I put it up. It hasn't really deteriorated at all. I'll just walk down the whole length of the back of the shed. So this is the back of my shed. Just get through the cobwebs. You can see an existing concrete post which is years old, which I made use of. It's on the other side because I wanted to get the fence as straight as I could. And it would have bulged out if I didn't do it on that side. But yeah, you can see it's been freshly painted and it looks just fine. So thinking back, I'm glad that I did this. I was worried that the wood could rot relatively quickly, but I have left a gap all the way along underneath the shed. There's an air gap, so there isn't water wicking up, and on both sides I've added gravel down by the floor, so there's not grass and plants and stuff growing up there causing damp. I'll just go all the way down to the bottom. So this is the back of the shed. I've just come out, there we go. And so I put a little wall in here because this is another existing concrete post, as you can see. I've attached a post there. On the other side there's another post, but I just made do with what I had, and I think it actually looks pretty good when it's painted, and it's lasted well. So 5 years, no problem at all. This is the back of my workshop. This was made with mainly 2x3s and feather edge board, but the floor inside the shed is actually pallet wood as well. But that is the 5-year-old fence. Now we'll take a look at the other side of the garden. So starting off down here. Now this fence I built 3 years ago, well over 3 years ago now, 3 and a bit years ago, and I've got the video to when I built this fence. I'll leave a link to that video in the description box too. So starting off here, I cladded over an old fence panel here with pallet wood, and that's looking great. And I put this Keta shed up, and then I've got a video on building it actually. All the relative videos I'll link in the description box. So again, I've used the existing concrete posts. I bricked this in. I painted this yesterday as well in the hot weather, and this trim is not skirting board, this is just pallet wood. Connecting the two joins, the toppers are pallet wood. Some of the posts are lap jointed together, they're old wood that I found. I think the only post I bought is that one here on the whole project. So you can see in the summertime the boards open up a bit, there's a gap because they shrink, but in the winter time those gaps disappear. And they're all held in place with screws. So let's just walk down here. Here's the garden mirror that I made, there's a video on that, I'll link that too. But both sides there's about 35 foot or so of fence, and this is holding up perfectly well too, no problems here. And it goes down behind my garden shed. I've got a video on when I built that too, and it runs to the back of the garden. I'll just show you all the way to the back. Here it is at the back, you can see those little gaps, but they do fill in. Some of the boards have sort of buckled and bent. Look, that one there is bent in a bit, but that's easily replaceable, just needs unscrewing and replacing, but it's okay. And if you stand back a bit, the further back you go the better it looks. Again, I've run like a trench of gravel along the bottom of the fence, and there's a gap just to prevent moisture wicking up the boards. So the fences are pretty good. Okay, so that is about it for this video. So 5 years on, you can clearly see that there's minimal rot and damage to the fence. It's still holding up well. There isn't really any problems with it. I've been coating it with a stain every year and it looks good to me. So if I could go back in time, would I do it again? I think I'd say yes, as long as you've got the time to spare to make it. It's quite satisfying to make the whole thing out of scrap wood, but just bear in mind it does take a lot of work, a lot of time to dismantle all of those pallets and remove all of the nails. It is much easier to go out and buy all the materials yourself, and because you're working with pallet wood and scrap wood, you get a lot of splitting, and there's a lot of warped boards you have to look out for, bent boards, so it is more difficult, but I'd say in my opinion it's a lot more satisfying. So if you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.